Welcome into another episode of 345. I'm your boy ElzdaTruph, and let me set the table for today's show. We're going to start with this week in the WNBA. I got some good things I want to point out and some bad things I want to point out. Secondly, we're introducing our PRNM Player of the Week. This will be from May 18 through May 25. And then after that, we got 3 more college universities. We got the Southern California Trojans, the NC State Wolfpack, and the LSU Fighting Tigers. But let's start this thing off with this week in the WNBA. The good. The Connecticut Sun off to a blazing hot start starting off the season 5-0. And check this out, they only shooting 29.5% from 3. And when I look at a stat like that, just imagine how efficient their offense got to be running inside the 3-point line. And let me start by saying, thank goodness Brianna Jones is back because she's been a ring leader shooting 63% from the field. And I could talk about the stars. We all know about Alyssa Thomas. Dejanay is all over everywhere. But I want to talk about the veteran leader, DeWanna Bonner. She done came out playing like she 10 years younger. ISO, 20 points per game through the first 5 games. She playing aggressive. She getting to the free throw line. And she only shooting 20% from 3. And still getting 20 points per game. And she ain't been hesitating at all. She averaging 16 shots per game, which is the most she's averaged since 2020. So shout out DB, 36 years young, still out here doing it like she 26. And I don't want to leave no players out. This team has all 5 starters averaging 11 points or more. Dejanay Carrington by far making the biggest jump, averaging 8 points last year and now averaging 15 so far through the first 5 games. And as great as the starters have been playing, the bench have been playing just as good. This team has so many veteran leaders off the bench from Rachel Bannum, Olivia Nelson-Adota, Tiffany Mitchell, and Mariah Jefferson. So when anybody got to get subbed out, it's usually a veteran coming in that know the system. So it's going to be really tough to beat this team. We're going to see how things shake out moving forward. But now let's talk about the bad. The Washington Mystics just looking dreadful to begin the season. 0-6, they can't make a basket. Brittany Sykes is out, only playing 2 games. Shakira Austin is missing games. And what's funny about the situation is they don't have bad talent. I feel like the players they got on this team can be contributors on championship teams, but collectively all together, they all basically role players. And I think the worst out of all about this team is they have 119 assists and 97 turnovers. It ain't no way you gonna win games if you're turning the ball over that much. And I said it during my preseason power rankings that this team was going to have to rely a lot on Brittany Sykes to be the leader and get this team in order. But since she's not there, they don't really have a leader. And just to talk a little bit about their rookie, Aaliyah Edwards, she been playing really good in the absence of Shakira Austin, but I don't think her and Stephanie Dawson fit together on the same court. Because Stephanie Dawson is more of a stretch, and to complement her talent, she needs players that are way more dynamic and stretch the floor a little bit more than Aaliyah Edwards. Right now, Aaliyah Edwards is shooting 46% from the free throw line. That gots to get a whole lot better. There's no way you're going to last in this league shooting that percentage. And trust me when I tell you this, when opponents see that your mid-range is that bad, they going to leave you open, and that's going to make it worse for other players to drive through the rim. Alright, but the last thing I want to point out for the Washington Mystics, this team has been out-rebounded in 4 of their 5 games, and the only team they beat on the boards was the Phoenix Mercury, who's playing without Brittany Griner. Alright, but now let's talk about our PRNM Player of the Week. This player is a newcomer to their team. They got 3 30-point games this past week, and that's none other than Philadelphia's own KFC Kahleah Copper. And when I first started this 345 podcast, I said it wasn't going to be about no highlights, but hey, things happen, things progress, you know how I go. But what you're looking at right here is Kahleah Copper's 37-point explosion against the Las Vegas Aces. And why I got this game in particular is because she made the most field goals she ever made in her career with 15. And the percentage on that was 65%, including 5 of 9 from 3. And I know we just talked about the Connecticut Sun having the best record in the league, but this is still to me the best team in the league regardless of record. So for her to do this on the best team, her confidence was very high very early in the season. Prior to this game, she had a game against the Atlanta Dream where she had 38 points. In that game, she was aggressive all out from the beginning. She went 13 of 16 from the free throw line. And I know it's very early in the season, but if Kahleah Copper keep up on this pace, averaging 29 points per game, not only is she gonna break all kind of records, but she gonna put it in a stratosphere that nobody can reach. And I think she can really keep up on this pace. But the reason I think she can keep up on this pace is because she playing with Tosh Cloud, and she ain't really no scorer, so she don't got no problem with giving Kai that ball and letting her go to work. Diana Taurasi is aging like fine wine, but we know she's not at the level or age to where she can lead this team. And Kahleah Copper has came in and just been the leader. She running the team. She clearly can see that she the best player on the team, regardless of Diana Taurasi or any other players or any other accolades. She's a champion and she's a final MVP herself. And it was good to see her step onto this team and not hold back. And let me just tell you something. If this is prime Kahleah Copper, everybody gonna want to come to Phoenix. I don't care nothing about none of these new expansion teams. Who wouldn't want to play with a player that's averaging 29 points and then you got BG on the other end whenever we get her back healthy? But we all know this is a championship franchise. They've won 3 championships in the Diana Taurasi era, and they've drafted and had so many all-stars come in and out the system. Good job by the Phoenix front office saying F them picks, and they went and got them a real legitimate star. And one thing I never talked about that I'm gonna forever be grateful for is Kahleah Copper winning that ring for Candace Parker. I told y'all the story about how Candace Parker got me watching basketball, and when she won this title in Chicago, I'm not gonna lie, I actually cried. I was so happy that she won that title. And I ain't even cried when my Cleveland Cavaliers won the title, but for Candace Parker to go through all that stuff in her career and then finally win, yeah, that was a really amazing moment for me and for women's basketball. Thanks to Kahleah Copper, she actually pulled the Tom Brady and won the championship on her first year on the team. So thank you, Kahleah Copper. You are forever goated in my mind. But now let's talk about the NC State Wolfpack. I mean, they had an amazing improvement from the previous year. Last year, they went 20-12. This year, they went 31-7. And the progression of this team and the players can be pointed at 2 players directly, Isaiah James and Sanaya Rivers. More particularly, Isaiah James. She's been playing for this team for the past 3 seasons, including this past one, but in her freshman and sophomore year, she ain't averaged no more than 6 points. So this past year, for her to come out and average 17, I don't think no teams in the ACC was able to see that coming. And I ain't gonna say they snuck up on some people, but they definitely shocked a lot of people with their play. Isaiah James ended up being first team All-ACC and All-ACC tournament. But now let's talk about the big guard, Sanaya Rivers. Former South Carolina Gamecock, she actually won a national title with South Carolina in 2022. Transferred to NC State, didn't really play much her sophomore year. She only averaged 8 points. This past year, she averaged 12 and started in all 35 games. But Sanaya Rivers, she ain't even scratched the surface of her potential yet. 6'1", legitimate playmaking guard. And that's what I want to see going into this next year. I want to see her doing a little bit more playmaking because she played very aggressive, but her field goal percentage and 3-point percentage is very low. Only shooting 38% from the field. If she can get that percentage to maybe up to 45-50%, then she could be a 20-point scorer. She already averaging 6 rebounds and 4 assists, 2 steals. I mean, she really a two-way nightmare. Being 6'1", you really can't get around her if you're a small guard. But that being said, those are the 2 stars on the team, Isaiah James and Sanaya Rivers. They also went about 5-6 players deep, so that's another reason they was able to make it very far in the tournament. River Baldwin, Mimi Collins, Madison Hayes, and let's not forget about the freshman Zoe Brooks. She not starting, but she also is a big guard. 5'10", averaged 9, 3, and 3. Coming into her sophomore year, she's only going to get a bigger role, and those numbers are only going to go up. Going into this next year, if I was the coach, I think I would just play 3 guards. I'm going to let Zoe run that point, Isaiah James at the 2, put Sanaya at the 3. We're going to take people off the dribble. We're going to open up some backdoor cuts, some easy dump downs in the post. With those 3 guards, if they could keep the ball moving and keep their shooting percentages up, they're going to be a real problem. I should probably also mention that they're going to be losing their 2 starters, River Baldwin and Mimi Collins, as they both have used all of their years of eligibility and have moved on. So NC State gonna have a whole new front court coming into this next year. And one person we can never forget about is the head of the snake. Head coach Wes Moore, 26-year coaching veteran, 11 with NC State. And you see that record, 273-88, that's a 75% win percentage. And he's gotten his team to the NCAA tournament the last 4 seasons. 6-time coach of the year at Chattanooga, 3-time ACC coach of the year. And I honestly think my man gonna be able to find him some good recruits to put in that front court. So as it looks right now, NC State will be back in the tournament and probably back in the Final Four as well. Alright, but now let's talk about the USC Trojans. And with this team, I want to start with the head coach, Lindsey Gottlieb. X and O master. She's a graduate of Brown College in the Ivy League, so we already know what she's doing on that clipboard. And since she's become a full-time head coach, every team that she's coached has at least been to the NCAA tournament. Lindsey Gottlieb actually took a California team led by Lasia Clarendon to the Final Four. And I'd be stupid if I didn't mention that Lindsey Gottlieb was also the first NCAA women's coach to be hired on the NBA staff. And that was, of course, in my city for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So personally, I'm really invested into this team. I really want to see her win because it's almost like she's doing it for the city because she got her start here. Just imagine she was really living that NBA head coach life. Charter flights, guaranteed pay, she in the locker room, traveling with the team. That experience alone puts her above a lot of other head coaches. But that's my little synopsis on Lindsey Gottlieb. We want to see you win, just not against our Buckeyes. You know that. But now let's talk a little bit about the players. Juju Watkins, what more can we say about her? Probably the best player in the nation. You can argue about who is number one, just make sure you say Juju. Another really good player on this team that fly under the radar, Rhea Marshall. Make sure y'all watch her play this year. She got crazy athleticism, can jump out the gym, can block any shot. I think she can actually dunk the ball too, but I think she need to play with a little bit more motor. She got a real low motor. That's the only thing I see that's an issue right now. But I love Rhea Marshall. I think she's going to be a really nice player. Of course, they losing Mackenzie Forbes. I'm not sure if Kayla Padilla coming back. And of course, they bringing in Kiki Ariafen, mid-range assassin. Her and Juju going to fit so well together. I mean, this is going to almost look like a WNBA team. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. Juju Watkins is going to be the number one pick in her draft. And Kiki Ariafen is going to be at least top 2 or top 3, guaranteed. Those two players teaming up kind of remind me of when Bosh and Wade teamed up and LeBron was like, Pat Riley can come down and run the wing and we still going to win. If Lindsey Gottlieb want to suit up and come run the wing like she did in her old Brown days, she can come back because these two usage rate going to be so high, it don't matter who else on the team for real, as long as they can shoot the ball. But now I just want to talk about a little bit how much Juju Watkins improved his team. Last year, the team was 21-10, or the year before. This past season, the team was 29-6, and damn near made it to a Final Four, but suffered that heartbreaking loss. Paige was not having it. But honestly, Juju Watkins is something that I ain't never seen before. For her to get 29 dubs in her freshman year, and the second scorer on the team last year was Mackenzie Forbes, who averaged just 14. Shout out to Mackenzie Forbes. She did get drafted to the Sparks. Hopefully she gonna be on one of these new expansion teams, but without Mackenzie Forbes, they going to be adding in Kiki Ariafen. Now, Kiki is not the shooter that Mackenzie is, but Kiki can hold her own on that offensive end. You all seen her drop 40 plus in the tournament and damn near drag Stanford all the way to the Final Four with Cam Brink in foul trouble. All right, but now let's talk about the LSU Fighting Tigers. This honestly became my favorite team to watch over the past year. It was so much surrounding this team after winning the national championship. I just had to see how this last year was going to play out for Angel Reese. I mean, just so much star power from Michaela Williams, Samaya Smith. Don't forget her. She coming back and she going to be a real factor on this team. Anissa Morrow can go back to her rightful position. And of course, Big Foe. It's time for her to take over this team. It's time for her to take over college basketball. She said it at the last game that Angel Reese is a dog and that playing with Angel Reese has definitely helped her elevate her game to a whole new level. So I can't wait to see that. I also want to see Miracle Shepherd. I'm going to tell y'all right now, keep an eye on Miracle Shepherd. She might end up being a starting point guard for this team. She's really good. She was very highly touted out of high school. Not sure what happened at Mississippi State, but she getting a real opportunity to play here, and I think she's going to take advantage of that. I'm also very interested in seeing Aaliyah Del Rosario. 6'6" center. I hope she learned something playing behind Angel Reese, because what I saw when she was on the court was a bunch of fouls, a bunch of unnecessary plays. Hopefully we get all that cleaned up over the offseason, because you're going to be a big part of this team. I also want to talk about Coach Kim Mulkey, because honestly, I'm still trying to figure out what the problem is y'all got with Kim Mulkey. I hope it's not the whole Brittany Griner situation, because that would be a stupid reason to not like somebody. If I'm not mistaken, she coached that team to an undefeated season and won a national title, and I didn't hear no complaints then, so why is it complaints now? And I said this before about Kim Mulkey. She's more like a mom on the sideline. That's why she gets so animated and upset when they're not doing the right, because it's like, I told your badass to sit down, or I told your badass not to do that. That's how you would talk to your kids. And I can't say if that's a right way or a wrong way to coach. That's for y'all to perceive, but for me personally, I would like somebody to coach me like that. Coach me hard. Don't talk to me like I'm a nice guy. You get much better results from people when you criticize them and let them know what they really need to improve on. Even with all that being said, it's something that y'all just can't hate on. The fact that she won in 3 different generations. She won back in 2005, and then she won in 2012 and 2019, and then she won in 2023. So that's 3 different generation of players, 3 different personalities, 3 different styles of play. She was out there winning with the women that was only wearing buns and ponytails. Now they got bundles and makeup. Clearly she understands these women and how to talk to them and how to get through to them. So I can't say nothing about all these other players that's coming out trying to say something, but me, I don't believe it, and I don't think nobody else believe it. Coming into this next year, I got a lot of faith in LSU. I think they're going to be right back into the Elite 8, maybe into the Final 4. They did lose their dog in Angel Reese, but that's going to open up more shot attempts for more other players, and they can maybe put more points up on the board. Who knows? And to all my LSU fans out there, please drop a tiger in the comment to show your support. But there you have it, another episode of 3, 4, 5 in the books. Before I get out of here, I want to thank you guys so much for showing me some birthday love. I know a lot of people really don't understand how good it can make somebody feel just to say happy birthday, just to ask them how they doing, or just to start a conversation. Every comment y'all make, every like y'all make, I can promise you it makes somebody feel good, especially myself. So shout out to y'all, man. Shout out Robbie Tyson. Shout out my guy Sauce. Nate, y'all already know Nate, that's my guy. Leon Nobles, I see you out there. My guy John Tank, Charles Mosley, my guy Orlando. Trust me when I say I see all y'all posts, and y'all really are the main reason that this channel was able to grow. I would never be able to pay y'all back for what y'all did for me. But with that being said, thank you very much for listening and watching. I'm ElzdaTruph for PRM. Talk to you on the next one.